I am from the best city in the world, but I would never have guessed the impact it would have on my motherhood. What city is that, you ask? I'll be happy to tell you. This is Motherhood Unmasked, the podcast for real talk about the challenges moms face. I'm your host, Vanessa Harris. But Mama, you're the kind of hero who doesn't need to hide behind a mask. I'm looking forward to connecting with you today. Hello and welcome to episode 13 here on Motherhood Unmasked. Well, what a bold statement I made, huh? Saying I'm from the best city in the world. And I guess if you're from a different major city, those would be fighting words, but I mean no harm. I'm just being honest. One of the beauties and burdens of New Yorkers is we say what we mean and we say it right away. With or without a word, we will let you know what we think. We do it when you stop your car in the middle of the road for no apparent reason. We use that horn. We're saying something when we walk past your tip jar during your performance on the subway platform. And with our side eye when you try to serve us a cold slice of pizza. Yeah, we want that slice piping hot. Whether irritated, sad, excited, or focused, it's all over a New Yorker's face. And if you misinterpret our expression, we'll be sure to set you straight. There's no place like New York City, and I wouldn't trade growing up there for anything. So when you're brought up in such an authentic place, it's hard to fake it in life. To play a role for appearance's sake, because unless you're on Broadway, honey, why bother? And yet, there are mothers faking every day. I see you hiding behind masked smiles and trying to convince us you have it under control, all the while harboring secret struggles in parenting. And I wonder why that is. I see you on the verge of tears, your shoulders slumped in embarrassment when your 8-year-old tells you what to do and whose public outbursts shame you into compliance. You didn't get there all of a sudden. That's years of masked mothering in a social circle too busy holding up their masks to help you lower yours. And now the stakes are higher than ever. Parenting has never been more public and complicated than it is now. Social media brings a whole new meaning to keeping up with the Joneses. We've turned our feeds into reality TV to escape the frustrating truth we need community with transparent moms. The kind you can share your issues about raising a strong-willed child without getting a blank stare and an awkward silence in return. There are two communities I've been blessed to be a part of: homeschooling and the military. Say what you want about homeschoolers, but like military families, they have a whole set of experiences that set them apart from the mainstream and cause them to band together. So in my homeschool days, we talked about everything because there are too few people who understood our experience. Besides, you're with each other so often, everyone notices if your 5-year-old talked back to you and rolled her eyes. You couldn't laugh that off or put a filter on it because you weren't fooling anybody. And you didn't have to because they understood. Instead, you asked your fellow homeschool mama how she dealt with her child doing the same thing, or you simply asked wearily, "Pray for me, girl." And that's exactly what we did for each other in that homeschool co-op, and still do when we have time to catch up. Do you have a group of women, even one woman you can be real with? You need one for life in general, but particularly in your mom circles. Do these mom friends need to have the answers to your parenting problems? No. But do you have one who will listen, who can relate to what you're going through, and whose insight you're open to? I heard someone I respect say, "You can't read a label from inside the bottle." Let me say it again so you don't have to rewind. You can't read a label from inside the bottle. Sometimes you need the perspective of an outside observer because you've been knee-deep in the mess so long it's become your normal. However, make sure you're open to what that friend shares with you. This is not the time to be super sensitive, Sheila. No offense to the Sheilas listening. If she's a friend, then she's speaking from a place of love. So we can just take it in and let it sit a little bit. And if you don't have authentic moms in your circle, then it's the perfect time to broaden your circle. And while you're at it, find transparent moms from a variety of ethnic and cultural backgrounds. Bishop T.D. Jakes said something recently that was profound. There's no fruition in sameness. New Yorker translation. You won't grow only hanging around people who are just like you. When you open up, not only will you discover you're not the only one going through your situation, you may pick up a perspective on it you wouldn't have otherwise had, and maybe even a strategy to address it. But you won't know till you drop the mask. You know, Peekaboo was one of my favorite games to play with my patients and my kids. It never gets old how babies really think you disappear behind your hands. Then they're surprised to see you reappear. And some of us think we're completely hidden behind the facades we show the world. But Peekaboo, I see you. If we learned nothing else this year, its life is too short to play pretend when you're grown. So be brave and tell the truth of your mom life with other mothers you can look in the eye, virtually or in person, because you have kids to raise, generations to impact, and nothing to prove to mamas in the same boat as you. Well, that's it for our Real Talk today. I look forward to our next time together. Speaking of which, what would you like to talk about? As in any good conversation, those involved take turns leading it. So head on over to vinelifefaith.com/podcast and click the link to leave me a message about what's on your mind. If selected, your question or comment in your voice will be the featured conversation starter in a future episode, because your voice and your story matter. So until next time, remember, when it comes to you being the mother of your children, you are the woman for the job. Take care. For all things Motherhood Unmasked, including fun and helpful resources and a link to leave me a message, check out vinelifefaith.com/podcast. Motherhood Unmasked is sponsored by Vine Life Faith, where we're breaking negative cycles and building healthy community through connection with Christ. vinelifefaith.com.